Hello and welcome to today's show of Carnival. Today on the show, we are making soft pretzels. I know you're excited. So, to make these pretzels, we need to use some dough. Dough. We love dough. Dough to make pretzels. Cassandra, can you start us off by preheating the oven to 375?
Yes, I can do that.
Perfect. Now, if you want to make the regular amount of pretzels, which is 8, like for this recipe, you would use 200 milliliters of water. But we, here at Carnival Chef, we love our pretzels.
And people love our pretzels. They come and they buy our pretzels. They come from all over to buy those pretzels.
They also come and steal our pretzels. So we're going to double our recipe today and make 400 milliliters. That's about right. You know, and just pour it on in. And Cassandra, do you remember how much yeast we use?
2 tablespoons. Is it for a doubled recipe?
That is true.
1 tablespoon for a single recipe. Here's
Lovely. Cassandra, would you like to mix this in?
I would.
And you just mix till it's cloudy.
Using a wooden spoon, is it?
The next thing we want to do is we want to add in our sugar. Now, in a regular recipe, you would use 1 tablespoon, but because we're doubling the recipe, we're using
2 tablespoons.
You got it. So we'll just scoop this up. Slide this into place at the 15 milliliters, which if you didn't know that was a tablespoon, you can look on the other side. Dump that one in. Makes a nice ring, doesn't it?
Yes. Just like bells in the winter on a sleigh.
The next ingredient we're going to add is our salt. So we're just going to use a teaspoon. Next thing we're going to add is our flour, which is our final ingredient before the fun part of
roll the dough and add the toppings.
So for your flour, you want to mix it up a bit to add some air into it. Otherwise, your pretzels might turn out a little different.
By different, we mean dense. Think of, you just have that nice cold glass of water. It just flows down your throat. But then one day, it's an ice cube. That ice cube, it's just not what you wanted.
Now what we're going to do is we're going to add our flour. So for a regular recipe, we're adding 2 cups. But what are we doing with this recipe, audience?
We're doubling.
That's right.
Times 2. Peace and love. Would you like this mix, Natalie?
I would love this mix as I'm doing. We're just going to take some flour and we're just going to sprinkle it on here. We don't need too much because if your dough is like ours, it still has some flour in it, like on the bottom. We're just going to dump it out. Make sure you get it all out. Test meringue on people's heads too.
It's tough being an assistant, but I will worship the pretzel master.
Okay, so we're just gonna, you can raise now.
Okay.
And add it. You have to stop that. You're like taking the camera away from me. Fungus, over here. Thank you. Okay, so now we're gonna scoop this all into a little ball. And we're just actually gonna knead it, but we're gonna scoop it together like 2 to try and form this because there's a little bit too much flour, but it should be fine if we knead it in well enough. Wouldn't you agree? You should be back over here now. Now, yes. Turn to the camera, smile.
Yes, it's exactly how Natalie says it should be. She's always right.
I pay her. Not much, but I do.
The main recipe would make 8. We have chosen to double it, which will make 16.
So, Cassandra, I've divided this dough in half, and I'm going to give you half of it, and me half of it. And I'm going to take some more flour and just put that there. If you feel you need it, you just grab a little and pat it on. So you can knead it out a little bit if you need to. Divide that into 8 and I'll divide mine into 8. I have my 8. Do you have yours?
I'm going. Yes. 8.
And now we're just gonna roll these out. And you just roll them between your fingers. Get it going nice. And you're just gonna make a nice long pretzel, or strand to actually turn into a pretzel. What we are going to do is come over to our lovely, lovely pans.
Does it require being greased?
That is correct. I'm so glad you brought that up, Cassandra. Would you
our
like
favorite? We like to use Pam.
Oh my gosh. It's as much as Brian uses. Looks like he taught her that technique. I'll teach you a
Just
technique.
like I learned how to wash dishes.
Oh, we're just gonna
Brian.
dab off some of that. Okay now. So Cassandra, this is a lovely shape you have formed. Would you like to explain to the audience what it is?
Well, I made a twister roll, of which I am going to make your traditional pretzel shape.
And would you look at that, audience? It's beautiful. We have 3 types of toppings today. First is salt.
Yes, many people are fond of this, myself not so much.
We also have cinnamon sugar.
Good for the sweet tooth, and a nice substitution for those mini donuts.
And we also have here an egg wash.
Yes.
Now the egg wash is important if you're adding salt or not adding anything at all. I do not like adding it when I'm putting on cinnamon sugar. But I mean some people do. So this plate is going to be just plain.
Yes.
Just plain pretzels for this group. And you lather it on and if you get it on the edges, it doesn't really matter because that'll just dry up when you're cooking. You might get a bit of smoke, but I mean, nothing the fire alarm won't tell you about.
And let's just pop this into the oven.
And that means they're ready. What, Cassandra? You ready?
I'm ready.
Woohoo! Yum.
Delicious.